Good afternoon, everybody. Charles Meade here, joined with our Tonkawa Lodge Chief and member of Scouts BSA Troop 157, Matthew Tweeden. Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Charles. I'd just like to say thank you so much for having me today, and thank you to the council for putting together this video series. I know personally it's been a great resource for staying involved during this interesting period of scouting.
You bet. And speaking of staying involved, that's one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. We thought it might be helpful to have a little more of a youth perspective here as we continue these conversations during what is an unusual time for scouting. Matthew, in your particular case, how are you continuing to be involved in scouting right now?
Oh, so many ways, right? This is an incredible opportunity for personal work. Last year, I was able to earn my Eagle Scout rank, but I know for anyone who hasn't quite gotten there yet or is working on any of the Venturing Awards or the Sea Scouting Awards, this is quite the opportunity for rank advancement. I personally really enjoyed focusing on some of the merit badges that actually tie in very well with this circumstance. Public health, beyond anything else, really stands out in my mind. But citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world, family life, personal management, personal fitness, ones like those that really will be able to see affecting us in unique ways now more than ever. They become apparent to their practical application, I think are definitely something we might want to focus on. You spoke the other day with Miss Snyder about the STEM Nova Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing there, right? Looking at these special awards, these different programs that scouting offers that people may not realize are out there, but just spending some time on BSA's national website, on the council website, looking at training opportunities and programs that people really should just be able to take advantage of and make the most out of.
Now, I think one of the things that caught my attention in your message to me earlier this past week was related to this idea of scouts always living the Scout Oath and Law and trying to model that for other people. And in particular, of course, there's the part about a scout being clean, which is critical in these times. You had mentioned that this is really a chance for scouts, even if they are not maybe actively working on a merit badge or something of that nature. It's yet another chance for scouts to show other people what scouting's all about.
Now more than ever, scouting values are needed. And this is our perfect opportunity to model the Scout way through upstanding behavior, whether that's through taking health and safety precautions, such as the CDC recommends, whether it's not touching your face, washing your hands frequently and thoroughly, protecting yourself and others. This really is just a chance to demonstrate how important that is and why scouts are able to follow through with that. But beyond that, there are other ways we can demonstrate a good scout spirit. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed over the past couple days is we're spending a lot more time online, and we're probably going to be over the coming months. The biggest thing, we need to model kindness to others as we spend more time online, model that Scout Oath and Law. Of course, work on your cyber chip before going online. Not that hard an award to earn. You'll get a nice patch when you're through with it, but it really does reinforce some good points. And finally, this is an opportunity to serve others, making the most of this moment to show what scouting is all about. I know you have some resources from Brian on scouting, if you'd be able to share some of those.
Absolutely. I think these are, and this is a link that we will provide here when we get this posted for everybody. Brian on Scouting off of the Scouting Magazine website, this blog that Brian Wendell with the national organization puts together. This past week, he had shared a couple of good turns, service project ideas that are certainly not revolutionary, but I think are a good starter for a conversation among scouts, among patrols, units, to figure out maybe something that they can do in their community. And you, of course, in your role as the chapter chief for Tonkawa Lodge, cheerful service being a big part of what the program is all about. And are there some things that have been discussed among members of the lodge, or maybe as a part of your troop, ideas that you've heard or seen that might be good service opportunities for people to consider or begin thinking about?
At this point, we're really trying to explore some of those ideas, right? Focusing on at-risk communities specific to coronavirus. So I've seen a lot of programs that focus on trying to create an interaction with people who may be on complete lockdown in retirement homes, or focusing on, as we transition back to school and we're in a new learning environment, peer tutoring that focuses on peers being able to share that information and build off of what others are getting and what others are able to learn, because certainly this will be a different learning environment as schools transition to the possibility of an online school, kind of like a conference we're having right now.
Right.
Those are two of the biggest things I've seen, is just using the conditions we have right now to offer maybe a different approach to service than what we've traditionally thought of. But as you mentioned, as the Brian on Scouting article showed, working with local community groups such as food pantries, churches, just really to be looking out for everyone during this time.
Absolutely. Now, we'll wrap up, of course, mentioning, since we've got you and your youth leader for our Tonkawa Lodge of the Order of the Arrow, you all have a big event that's coming up, at least it's been on the calendar for a while, the Spring Assembly. And as a lot of us are doing right now, you and the rest of the Lodge leadership are trying to figure out what happens next and whether that event can go forward. And a big part of that, of course, is being able to help provide the opportunity for ordeal candidates, the folks who are not familiar with the OA, ordeal candidates, folks who have just been elected by members of their Scout unit to join Scouting's National Camping Honor Society and going and fulfilling what's called an ordeal to become a full-fledged member. Matthew, what is the latest status with all of the Lodge business concerning that?
So 3 days ago, the Lodge released our current statement on coronavirus. If you want to check that out, visit tonkawa99.org/coronavirus. We also communicated this through social media or through our Lodge-wide email. So all Lodge members have likely seen this. But if you go through it, basically what it says is that we haven't finalized a decision on Spring Assembly. That decision will be made at our April 5th Lodge Executive Committee meeting. To find information on that, we'll be posting on the website and social media the call-in number or login information, so that way anyone who would like to be there is able to see that decision-making process. And in the instance of a cancellation or postponement, we want to guarantee that every candidate has a fair chance to complete their induction. As such, a lot of the officers have been putting in time to make sure that these opportunities are going to be presented. And more information will be released on that as we approach that executive committee meeting and as that decision is finalized. But at the end of the day, we're going to make sure that the Order of the Arrow program is offered to everyone who's been elected, and that anyone who wants to be involved, who has already gone through that big step, will have that opportunity.
Fantastic.
And I think planning ahead is something that really we should be looking at on all levels. Whether you're a member of a troop patrol leader council or a crew executive committee, planning ahead for the summer and for fall is going to be huge. I know that once we're done with the quarantine, once we're done with social distancing, I'm going to want to go camping. I'm going to want to spend some time outdoors. And the scouting program is going to be what offers that. We'll see a scouting program stronger than ever before, and I really look forward to seeing that. What's important to remember is that scouting at the end of the day, though, isn't about camping or hiking or fire building. Sure, it's fun. It's a key part of the program, but it's about building leadership and instilling a spirit of service in others. And I think taking on the unique lens of this moment in time really allows us to show what scouting is.
I can't agree more. Matthew, thank you so much for your time today. And folks, remember, we'll share links to all of the sites that we talked about here when we post this interview. Matthew, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Charles.